But this owner told me, or owner's father told me to clean exactly like him, which is good. You want your workers to clean exactly how you want them to clean. So he took the toilet brush, and I apologize if you're eating. You might want to skip forward a minute past this story. But if you can stomach it, this is what he trained me to do. He said, take the toilet bowl brush and put it in the toilet. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cleaning Indie Podcast, brought to you by American Facility Care. I'm your host, Tom Moore, co-founder of American Facility Care, and we'd like to talk about all things facility and building related. Are you a facilities director or property manager, or even the point person in charge of your building? Then this podcast is for you. All right. Well, welcome to our very first episode of the Cleaning Indie Podcast. We're excited about our topic today, and what we're going to talk about today is who we are and who this podcast is for. But before we answer that question, I want to explore this question. What makes one cleaning company different from another? By the end of this podcast, we're going to find that out. But first, a short story. And as Shakespeare has said, brevity is the soul of wit. So we're going to be succinct with this story. The year was 1995, and if you're like me and you were looking for a way to get home from school quickly, I was waiting for a ride. My mom would pick me up, so we had an hour to kill after school was over. And of course, I could have done my homework as a studious young lad, but I didn't. And I wanted to just wait on doing homework to do it at home. So my aunt taught at the school, and she had a classroom that I went to and just started really out of sheer boredom, vacuuming her floor and taking her trash out and just cleaning up in general for her, just for fun, as a way to pass time. Well, the cleaning company that was contracted to clean that building came up to me and said, I'll pay you to do what you're doing already. And just like that, boom, I'm 14 years old. I've got a minimum wage job paying $4.25 an hour. And something amazing happened also. I got a raise before I even started because I thought, well, he clearly sees the value in me. And so I got a 50-cent raise bumped up to $4.75 an hour. Then, of course, years later, I found out what minimum wage was all about. So I had worked for him all throughout high school. Great company, great boss to work for. And so I graduate high school and I go to college. Well, during college, I worked for another cleaning company, and it was a different experience completely. No two cleaning companies are the same is the theme here. And what I did, how they trained me at that cleaning company was really appalling as I look back. It was kind of really bad training. I got a huge dose of reality. So while I was working there, the owner's father, he was retired and kind of helping his son's cleaning company, which is a good thing. But this owner told me, or owner's father told me to clean exactly like him, which is good. You want your workers to clean exactly how you want them to clean. So he took the toilet brush, and I apologize if you're eating. You might want to skip forward a minute past this story. But if you can stomach it, this is what he trained me to do. He said, take the toilet bowl brush and put it in the toilet. Swirl it around with the cleaner in there. That's standard. But what he said next threw me off. He said, pull the toilet bowl brush out of the toilet and go ahead and proceed to clean the underneath of the seat. Put the seat down and clean the top of the seat where people sit with the toilet water. That threw me off. I was shocked, as I said before. And so you might be wondering, well, did you? That's the question of the day. Did I do what I was told by the boss of the company, the father of the boss? And my answer is no, I didn't do that. There was something in my young mind at that time. Young people aren't really germ conscious as you are as you get older. And maybe they are now, having gone through COVID. But at the time in 1995, I was not that germ aware as a young person. But I was aware enough to know not to do that. That is not a safe way to clean. It's not hygienic. And so today as a company, our number one thing is to make sure when we train our employees to make sure that we all, first of all, clean consistently the same way, the same process, using the same techniques, chemicals, microfiber cloths, color-coded for the area that you're cleaning. Red is toilet only. And we make sure that we clean a hygienic, safe way. That word hygienic is very important in our vocabulary. in our culture at our company today. Well, I briefly worked at another job after that because that job didn't last very long, as you could imagine. And I worked at a factory full-time 8 to 12 hours a day while in college. It was a great job, great experience there. But while I was there, I decided to see if I could do this on my own. And a lot of people do that. They start out that way. They have a cleaning experience and they want to go out and see if they can do it on their own and see if they have what it takes. And so I was still young in college. And so I took that risk and went out and I purchased a course from a cleaning company owner, very successful that I thought he was, and who lived in Florida. I took his course and he explained exactly the processes for how to clean and how to do a walkthrough, how to bid, and how to operate a cleaning business. And so I took his course and I walked to my first building, which was 2 blocks away from my house. I was well dressed at the time, I think khakis and a blue button-down shirt. Walked in, they allowed me to complete a walkthrough with them, and I had the papers on the spot that I hand wrote in the bid for that building. Now, it was a 3-story building, pretty compact, but a decent-sized building. And there were 4 different companies, I remember, operating out of that one building that they all rented together. And it was kind of an open concept as well. So great building, great people. I landed the gig. I think it was $12.75 a month, if I remember right. So I thought, well, that was easy. I'll just go do that again. And that was when another dose of reality hit that was very rare for it to happen. In fact, it's never happened that way where you just go to your first building ever. Well, of course, it couldn't happen that way again, but it's very rare that you walk in a building and then just close it that day. So I learned that lesson. So I went to school to study religious studies, specifically biblical studies, because I wanted to be a pastor or be in the ministry when I graduated. Well, that line of work does not pay super well unless you are the pastor of a really large church or you happen to have, you're a televangelist, you're a TV pastor. So those 2 routes weren't going to be my destiny. So that's when I decided my wife and I, to co-found our current company, which is American Facility Care. American Facility Care was founded in 2014, and at first, my wife helped here and there, and she's now completely involved in the company. But at first, it was just me out there cleaning as an individual, cleaning every day. Now we have 10 employees. We have 10 accounts of different sizes and different types of accounts, churches, office buildings. We've done schools, daycares, so all kinds of office buildings. So as owners, we are very hands-on. We can 100% focus on each of our 10 clients, and they get 100% of our attention. It's almost like our clients are part of an exclusive club, having us as their cleaning company, because we focus on them completely and 100%. Also, each of our employees, we treat them, you hear people say, well, we treat our employees like family, and that's true, we do. But I also like to think of our employees as our internal customers. They're that important to us. So you could imagine if our employees are that important to us, then you might not wonder how much training they get. You might know that, wow, they get a lot of training and they get a lot of attention and everything that they need. We provide all the tools that they need. There are some companies that I've heard of where you got to bring your own supplies. You bring your own vacuum, your own mops, your own gloves. We provide all of that every time. So we really try to customize the experience that each of our cleaners has, while also maintaining a consistency of using the same chemicals and process for each of our buildings. While each building might be customized in their scope of work, the way we clean the same item is similar. That way, if we have one worker call in, we're able to have another one fill in, and all the chemicals are in the same location on their caddy. It's the same chemicals that they're used to. They know all the MSDS sheets on those chemicals and the processes for how to use them. And that is why we like to be consistent as a cleaning company. Well, you might be wondering, we're getting to know each other here. As you get to know us, you might be wondering, well, what does a cleaning company owner do on the weekend? And that's a good question. And I can say this, for the last 5 years, we volunteered our time at a local church just south of Indianapolis, a church startup that started up 5 years ago. And we've been able to donate our time and just work with that church as an assistant pastor. And so that's been a really fulfilling time in our life. And that's kind of a big motivation and a big part of our life as to why we do what we do. We want to change people's lives for the better, whether it's financially through helping employees, whether it's coming alongside people and just helping lift them up to the next level. We want to work with people, we love people, and we want to help them wherever they're at in life. And so that's a big motivation for why we do what we do. We're going to talk more about that, what we do on the weekend, coming up soon in another podcast. So going back to the original question, what makes one cleaning company different from another? Well, the short answer is the experience of its leaders. You take the cleaning company I worked for in college and you contrast that with the cleaning company I worked for in the year 1995. And you could see as I told that story, the clear differences just in the way they trained and operated, the way they cleaned a toilet hygienically versus unsafe. So there was a big difference in how the cleaning companies themselves operated, and that came down to its leadership. I'm sure that retired father and his son, that combo, had some experience at some point, but there was something lacking, something important and safe lacking in their standards. And so these are things that maybe you could think of as facility managers and property managers as you look to hire a cleaning company for your building or buildings that you oversee. These are important questions. Ask them very tactical level questions. How do you clean bathrooms? What is your process for cleaning a toilet? And get really specific and see what their answer is. You want to hear, okay, they don't bring the brush up out of the bowl. They do wipe the toilet with one rag that is a one use only, and it's color coded so it doesn't get mixed with other rags. You want to know that they use the proper disinfectant that's CDC approved to kill those kind of viruses and sporicides that are known to live on toilets. And you want to make sure that they are providing a safe and healthy, hygienic environment for your workers and your clients that come into your building as well. Another big difference in how two cleaning companies might be different from each other, it's in how they utilize their experience that they've had along the way, and also how they nurture that experience in order to bring you, the customer, more value. So I think those are important points. Well, hey, if you want to hear more about this, then go to cleaningindy.com. There's going to be more information there. We've got blogs and other podcasts there, as well as a way for you to contact me personally if you'd like. Hey, if you are a facility director, property manager, and you want to join me on this podcast and allow me to interview you here, I would love to do that. Get in contact with me at cleaningindy.com and just fill out our contact form. And don't forget to rate us wherever you're listening to this podcast, whether it's Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, wherever you're listening to this. And if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and give us a like and a thumbs up. And take care. We'll see you next time on the Cleaning Indy podcast.